Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Graykowski, creator of the Better Brain Blueprint. This week we're talking about the framework of the four brains. If you look at when we develop, two little cells coming together forming a one-celled person called a zygote. That starts to divide and divide and divide, and after about 16 days after conception, our nervous system is the very first system to develop. As the nervous system develops, it has to be in a state of growth, in a state of developmental processes so that the body and the baby 9 months later are healthy. If you look at we're in a state of defense or state of anxiety or state of stress, it actually stunts our growth. If you look at that from a point of view of us as our nervous system, are we in a state of growth or are we in a state of defense? You can design your own life by looking at using the four different sections of the brain, the framework that we use for the Better Brain Academy, so that you can kick out of that reactive process so that you're not in defense, but you're actually in a state of growth. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into the four levels of the brain and the framework of that. So our first process in science, they actually call it the four different levels of the brain based upon the different animals. So you've got your reptilian brain, which is your more instinctive or your reactive brain. You've got your brain just above that, which is the mammalian brain, or for mammals. Then you've got your human brain. And what I believe is the next level of our own human evolution is our enlightened brain, where we understand that we are in control of our destiny, and that if you think about it, our intellectual brain is smart enough to make nuclear weapons, but yet it's reactive enough to blow each other up. That is not an enlightened society. It is important for us to really realize that we are in control of our own destiny. We are like cells on this planet Earth. Just like cells, they have to work together in harmony. We have to become more in a state of growth rather than a state of defense or reactive. And when we get in a state of defense, it actually suppresses our own growth, it suppresses our nervous system. So the next level is realizing that the four levels of the brain, we have our reactive brain, where we maybe it's hardwired, where something happens and we react to it. And then we have our relationships, that's our emotional brain, where how we interact with other people. Then we have our reality brain, where we look at science, we look at using our senses to see what we feel our reality is. But yet, if we really look at what is most important for each of us is to be in a state of growth using our natural gifts and our natural purpose. That's where we need to be in that higher intuitive brain, where we are more reflective. The next level of that process is just what we just talked about. We have our instinctive brain, where something happens and it's just out of instinct. It's almost like a knee-jerk reflex. We just do something. This is a framework that we're going to go deeper into, but I want to just start to lay some groundwork that different parts of our brain, our lower part of our brain, our brain stem, and a part of our cerebellum is that more instinctive brain. Our emotional brain is our middle brain, which is our different parts of the limbic system. Then we have our intellectual brain, which we call our cerebral cortex, or the human brain. That's cortex means the bark or the outer lining, the neocortex of the brain, which we consider the part that we think about when we think about the human brain. And then we have our intuitive brain. This is where we start to integrate not only our heart processes, our spirit, what our natural purpose is, but we're using our brain on an intellectual and emotional level so that we make changes in our overall health and our future. Our unconscious brain is that instinctive brain. Then we have our processes where we become aware. Then we become self-aware, which is where we start to see awareness is looking at, hey, I can see these things that are happening in the world, but our self-aware is how are we part of this process? How are we contributing to it? So self-awareness is where we start to use our higher intellectual and our human brain so that we can really see how can we make a change for ourselves so that we can make a difference in the world. And that's where there's more of a oneness, where all the cells are working together, all humankind is working together. Unfortunately, we cannot be in a state of growth and defense at the same time. There are times when we have to defend ourselves. That is natural. But if we are always in a state of reactive and state of unconscious defense, then we are not in a state of growth. it is important to make sure that our brain and our nervous system are interconnected and that our heart and our mind are together. So the ultimate purpose is that what we truly, our heart and our brain are in harmony with each other so that we can create a healthier and more vibrant future and society. This is another Better Brain Tip of the Week from Dr. Bob. Have an awesome week.